Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 480, top trustee mistakes. Definitely appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay, new listeners, old listeners. Somebody that listened this far and someone that's going to listen all the way through. Appreciate you all for tuning in and listening to this. This is The Vault, episode 480, Top Trustee Mistakes. Trust Christian, own not to control everything. Definitely wanted to do this episode. Sometimes we got to combine episodes because it's just so much that comes through the vault on the back end that a lot of people don't see because we're private. So it's just one of those things that we're going to talk about some of the top trustee mistakes just because they've been made, and it's not based off of you being in the private or you just being in the public. It's based off of an education uh, starting out. So we definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay, and want to do this episode dedicated to the listeners that reach out for a consultation. The email you can reach out to is christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that email is christian at trustchristian.com. This is episode 480, top trustee mistakes. So we definitely wanted to do this episode because we've encountered these same things. It's a lot of redundancies and repetition, and what you have to understand is trustees are humans, and trustees have human nature. And we're going to talk about that human nature, and it really goes into the two mistakes that you make as a trustee that get the corporate veil pierced. But these are the true KPIs that you have to look at, key performance indicators that you have to look at almost on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, biannually, and yearly basis. These top three mistakes, top trustee mistakes at least, we're going to go over. So let's just go over one of the first ones is maybe the trustee doesn't have a true student mentality. What does that mean? Do I have to sell out like you, Trust Christian, in the vault? Do I have to become a full time trustee? Whether you know it or not, the program has to be set up that way. It's learnable, it's teachable, it's duplicatable. If you're a trustee, if something happens to you and you have to go down tomorrow, how does the trust still maintain itself? Well, there's trustees. So did you train a successor? Did you train someone for your job? Trustee, one of the top mistakes is not staying in the student mentality. This is a student mentality question that a trustee can ask themselves daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest means you did a great job. It's the best that you could have did at that day for learning what you are to learn specifically in specific areas. Once again, as well in trusteeship. So we're talking about what's your student mentality like in trusteeship? Are you learning trusteeship on a daily basis? After a while, it's going to become second nature, like maybe tying your shoe or, brushing your teeth or something of the sort. Just reading something of the sort, having something uh, come into your universe is you asking to have that information continuously come to learn. What we see though is it's a 50-50 split if y'all want to know, but whether y'all know it or not is really just based off the family and the individual. That stat shouldn't even be stated because some people might err to the caution of, oh yeah, I want to be the person that scores myself less than an 8. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, if you're scaling yourself less than an 8, it's not high performance. This is the test of time. Oh man, I'm going lesson 8. I'm gonna do a 7 because you think that's the easy thing to do, or people think that's the easy thing to do. But when you're judging yourself off of that level of performance skill, um, it's not that a 7 is average. It's just it's not closer to 10 than 8 or 9. There's more room to grow. And how much more better can we get if we focus on the things that we can control and we're good at? And the student mentality is something you control. And the student mentality is something that it says asking yourself, are you good at it? Are you great at it? Or are you okay at it? Or are you not doing well? Grade 10, good 8 or 9, okay 7, okay. I'm just okay as a trustee. Well, think about this. People that go through our training program is a learning curve. There is a time frame in which to institute that it's more than okay thought process. Definitely. This isn't just a life of average. It's a life of abundance. They're talking about getting trusteeship for abundance. Right. They're talking about getting trusteeship to protect assets. Yes. Top trustee mistakes. One of them is not the number one. It's not a 1 or a 2 or a 3. It's just top. Redundancies. The student mentality. It's always going to be based off of these type of principles. Your student mentality. Once again, on a daily basis, being able to judge your performance in your area of picking up some type of piece of information that caters to the learning and development of trusteeship or management of your family estate or trust. Bottom line. That's what all great asset managers are doing. Great. Great. That means they're reading still after they've become a great asset manager. They're still reading. Still studying. Student mentality. Pushing themselves actually more than you know it. See, a 10 is when you're pushing yourself. An 8 or a 9 is, we're making it. We're making it. And these are some of the questions that come up in consultation. Sometimes people don't want it. Sometimes people don't ask that question. Hey, how do you see our performance? But we do our best to give people that quote unquote positive reinforcement feedback, giving them feedback on the positions that we can assess from being in the airplane at a higher level. But at the end of the day, you definitely want people to know that they are right on time, right on the right page with their studies. They're continuously learning words. You think about it, you get in trustee training or you've been going through things for a while. The only thing you can do is really just get more education, but how fast can you get it? It's really what it comes down to. And so digesting the information is important. We got trustees and people that have told us for years, I read the case 3 times and still didn't get it. 3. I read the case a few times, quite a few times, 10 times. We're not going to tell no one the extremes of 30. I mean, I really I just kind of sit. I had to keep sitting there and going back and reading it over and over and over. Yeah, what do you think they do in law school? They read cases over and over and over, and they talk about them actually. That's what they do in law school, right? Top trustees stay in the student mentality, but the top trustee mistakes are them not staying in the student mentality. And that's definitely above an 8. That's pushing a 9, is pushing a 10. You're pushing yourself to associate with senior trustees that's sitting at their table. You're going to, it's ironing sharpen iron. That's what it is. Top trustee mistakes. We already went over the first one. That one is student mentality. The second one is the work ethic. The work ethic is doing the minutes. People say, oh man, I got to do all of this stuff. I got to do all of this stuff. First of all, the minutes can be called meetings. We talk about this with our trustees. If it's not, oh, does it have to be called that? It's what it is. If it's a trust minute, didn't you guys meet to have the minute? So then when we get into, well, the work ethic is, do I have a system in place? Am I managing a system, something that is bigger than me, or am I doing this backwards? And now am I a slave to the trust? As a trustee, am I a worker or am I an asset manager? It's two different things. Top trustee mistakes is definitely not knowing to have a system in place that's workable, because you got to have something that you're going towards and then you got to work towards it. So it deals with the work ethic. Oh, well, what are you really saying here? The first thing is trustees have to have a direction. Once you have a direction, you have a work ethic. But you have to have a work ethic. That means you're going to do something. It's not get in and here we go. You ready? This is what we built it up to say. So people can get in and sit on assets. They think they can sit on assets. There is no way you can sit on assets. There's maintenance for it's maintenance costs for assets. It's maintenance costs for assets. People haven't, in the modern times, most of the young whippersnappers haven't dealt with negative interest rates in the past few recent short period of time. They haven't dealt with negative interest rates. So that means they're charging you points now to hold your money. You're paying them. Top trustee mistakes. Work ethic. That's one. Appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. We got Memphis, Tennessee for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Memphis, Tennessee for tuning in live, listening to replay. Appreciate you all. Definitely for typing in the chat where you're listening from. Some people might not think it's a big deal, but we always appreciate it, and it's good to let the other listeners know that there are trustees out here really that are saying, yeah, not only are we 1%, but we're out here and we're in these positions and we're here. These are the things that let you know where this type of information is permeated at. Of course, in Memphis, Tennessee, that's a developing area. Of course, there are going to be trustees in these different types of areas. Of course, in Mississippi, there are going to be trustees because yes, they have golf courses in Mississippi. Do your research. Top sports. But let's get back to top trustee mistakes. Because the work ethic is where you grow the assets, not get in and sit on the assets. But most people, they don't even know what they have to grow. They didn't do an inventory. What's your inventory? What assets do you bring to the table? What plan do you have to grow the assets? Because you got to have an idea, a plan, and then execute. That's work ethic. That's work ethic. Work ethic is saying, I don't know something and I got to figure it out. That's work ethic. Figure it out. It comes down to nothing other than that. And then it comes down to your attitude. Top trustee mistakes. Your attitude. Top trustee mistakes. Your attitude. Oh man, Trust Christian Avard, I didn't really think you was going to tell me that. Why you got to tell me the what is that? Why you got to tell me the attitude? I'm going through it. I got to get through it. I got to go through it. I got to get through it. So you say, okay, what's top trustee mindset? Top trustees thought process or attitude. Top trustees attitude is focusing on the ends, not the means. We'll repeat that again. Focusing on the ends, not the means. You got to keep your vision in sight, because if you don't come from it, you're going to look back And you're going to see that you're further than any of your family members have ever made it. Ladies and gentlemen, you all will be flabbergasted by how many people we sit down in front of and they're the richest person in their family, or one of the top five income earners of their family. Could be 20 people, 30 people, 40 people that they immediately know, from brothers to sisters. They could be the wealthiest person. One. How do they handle that position? Your attitude. Are you focused on the ends, or are you focused on the means? Oh, this is where I come from. Top trustee mistakes. Oh man, I could say sorry. Your attitude. I won't let that happen again. Ooh. And some people say, oh man, these are the type of thought processes that are a little extreme. What do you mean? Everything's held in trust. So why would it not come from that extreme? It's held in contract. Top trustee mistakes is that they forget that everything's in contract. So they start attaching personal feelings to the social, start attaching personal feelings to business. Top trustee mistakes the attitude, focused on the ends, not the means. Are you focused on the ends, not the means? Oh man, I gotta go through it right now. I gotta get my money up. Yeah. What we would say is to the attitude, top trustee mistakes. If you have the issue of basically getting outside of your comfort zone, that is one of the top things that we have on our to-do list every single day, is to do something outside of your comfort zone. And in turn, that will allow the trustee to think about the ends, not the means. That means that they're pushing themselves. It's allowing them to push themselves. When you say push yourself, it even allows you to be pulled towards your dreams, the yearning of your dreams. It allows you to be pulled towards that. Um, when you talk about top trustee, they're not mistakes, they're best practices. Best practices say you allow yourself to be pulled towards the dream, pulled towards the ends, and not focusing on the means, but focusing on the ends. And this is the thing that, whether you all know it or not, every trustees probably it will forever be challenged with this one. Your attitude towards focusing on the ends and not the means. And whether you all know it or not, that's just creating a level of what we would like to say, or what it is a level of detachment. And but at the same time, uh, still focusing on the ends nonetheless, not focusing on the means. So we definitely want to make that very clear. This is knowing where you're going. So, we could say the first aspect is learning. The second aspect of it is more of your attitude, focusing on the ends and not the means. And then going out and doing the work and leaving it, letting your work speak for itself. And this is where you are as a trustee, is letting your work speak for itself. Appreciate New Jersey for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate New Jersey for tuning in live, listening to replay. We think that's Jersey. NJ usually is New Jersey. Top trustee mistakes. The attitude, not focusing on the ends, but focusing on the means. Are you getting up every day reading a mission statement? Does the family estate have a mission statement? Or are you still out here winging it? You're winging it because you didn't have the formal private education. That's why you're winging it. It's a system that's supposed to be perpetuated with or without you. Top trustee mistakes is that they didn't maintain the system to perpetuate a system. How do you do that? You got to put a system in place, yo. You got to maintain a system that has processes and procedures. When things come up, hey, What happens in this situation? What happens in this situation? Yeah, we done went through quite a few of those situations already. We're not gonna make that same mistake. What? Twice. It's written down. We have it in the algorithm in the system. We can search keywords for the mistakes we've made as trustees for over 100 years because they've recorded the different day-to-day activities of the trust for 100 years, and now we can search it because you created that type of internal system. Everybody wants to use the technology, but then next thing you know, where's your family going to be in years? Are they going to be utilizing trusteeship, quote unquote, utilizing the technology to prevent mistakes and actually becoming a financial powerhouse because you all have created that level of internal record keeping? But oh no, no. Well, the minutes are the hardest thing to do. Sure they are. Did you keep track of your hours, of how many hours you worked this week? Right. Most people do. They keep track of how many hours they work. Right. So the top trustee mistake is that they don't keep track of what you're supposed to be doing as a trustee. What you're doing as a trustee, the day-to-day activities. So when your children go back and see, they don't need to hear the stories of mom and dad and what they were doing. They literally can peer into your life as a senior trustee and see what you were doing on a day-to-day hour basis. Oh man, I don't need to figure out what I need to do in my life after I graduate from school. Mom and dad show me every day. I need to be to the office, report to the family office. Once I report to the family office, I got these people that they've already got in place that they've had in place for years. Okay, I might not need to talk to the same people every day, but I do need to talk to some people weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. They wrote it here, and they kept pretty good record keeping for the big deal stuff. Okay, what education do I bring to the table? What am I going to do to grow the family estate instead of coming here and sit on assets and take? Top trustee mistakes is not focused on the ends instead of the means. We'll go through the mistakes again. The mistakes look like this. The first one is student mentality. People just traditionally, if they don't have a positive mindset towards learning, maybe they don't want to read. We've had some recent trustees. Well, shout out to the recent trustees. If you've enrolled in the past month or two, we've had some really good trustees enrolled in the past month or two that are really, we give them the reading, they're on the reading. When we're on the line, they're getting the books. And, that's really important. Getting the dictionaries, getting the books. Those things are very, very important. So we're very, shouting out to those trustees that you're doing a great job. We talked to them about this, but just letting them know, hey, you're doing a great job. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep reading. We've had trustees read books in less than 2 weeks, which is always great, whether that's through audiobook or not. It's always a plus. So we definitely are excited about, trustees continuously going through with a student mentality, trustees going through the private library that we have, and them just going even back through the older episodes on the vault on YouTube here, literally just being able to go back and digest that content, we can see exponential results. And we're so important. Top trustee mistake, student mentality is one. Another one. Oh man, my work ethic. Where's my work ethic towards trusteeship in my family estate? I'm working harder than for some other family and their last name than my own. How? Because are you working towards your family estate? At one point there's gotta be some rubber that meets the road, and it's gonna first benefit your family last name or your whole overall situation. It's okay. Bam, that happens. Then we get to the attitude. I mean, trustees are focused on the rate now. Oh man, I gotta deal with the day to day. I'm not a big picture thinker. Well, if you're not a big picture thinker, you might have a job, so you can just go in, punch out, go home, tell you when the lunch is, tell you when the vacation is, tell you what time you get off every day, tell you what time you get 2 days for the weekend if they call it that. Top trustee mistakes. They didn't focus on the attitude, which is focused on the ends, not the means. Gotta be focused on the ends, not the means. Every day when you wake up, you're focused on the family estate. Hey, you thought you was about to get past that? You thought Trust Christian was going to say, oh, you should be selfish? Oh, focus on your first name. Go out there and do a good job. No, it's not go out there and do a good job. It's go in there and, okay, we need to think about our family right now. What's our family focused on? The overall family. I thought outside of myself, and quite a few listeners listen at the vote and they think about their families. And then they say, oh, well, my family doesn't want to join me in the practice yet. Because you're focused on the means, not focused on the ends. The ends is you do the work and you don't even worry about what they're doing. Because we all got a job. We all got a responsibility as a trustee or otherwise. Some people are, think about it. They didn't qualify to manage the estate yet. That's all it is. Did you qualify? Top trustee mistakes is they didn't qualify because they're not focused on the family. They're focused on themselves. So that's why they're not in the family estate, building the family estate yet. That's why. You don't need to ask the question, well, how come they're not in here digging a ditch with me? Well, they didn't qualify. Did they come with a student mentality? Did they come with the attitude of focusing on the ends, not the means? Did they come with a work ethic? Did they show up? Work ethic is showing up. Did they show up? Did they meet you on the call once a week? On time? Or did they, oh, let's push the can down the road. Let's keep, we'll get around to that. We're never going to get serious. We'll get serious somewhere around later. And you're sitting here saying, hey, we need to get this done right now. We got trustees came on the line. They out here fully good to go within less than 5 weeks, less than 4 weeks. Could it be sooner? Of course. In life, that can happen. But, when you're learning, there is a learning curve. That's all. We're not trying to push the pedal to the metal. Most people aren't ready for that. They got obligations in their life. But what's interesting is we say no more vacations. You do something else. But what happens is sometimes people keep thinking personal. They're not focused on the ends. They focused on the means. Well, I got a job right now. How I'm going to put the check in the trust. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out how I'm still going to take a salary. I'm trying to still figure out how I'm going to buy a house. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to buy a lawyer. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get my lawyer to let me know that this is a super good to go thing because I haven't really experienced that yet. I'm trying to get my lawyer to really let me know. Oh, yeah? Or, I'm not serious. I'm just curious. That's an attitude. They're not focused on the means. At the ends, they're focused on the means. Oh, how I'm going to get the money to come up with trustee training? How am I going to come up with the money to be in the private? How much does it cost to go private? Worst part about it is, or the best part about it is, it's actually, what would we say? Most people's liabilities are greater than what it costs to get going. And that's the facts. And why wouldn't it be? It's definitely going to have to be because whether you know it or not, these are things that you have to, quote unquote, how we say this, these are things that you do on the front end, not the back end. You don't do them on the back end. See, there's a philosophy, but not everybody can handle the truth. You do it on the front end, not the back end. Because then the ends justify the means. But when you don't have the mindset focused on the ends, you're focused on the means. Where is it going to come from? How am I going to get it? All these good questions. And in all actuality, when you're focused on the ends, It's already done. They've already thought out 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus generations. That's focused on the ends. I'm building generational wealth. That's focused on the ends, not the means. When you're focused on the ends, you might take less vacations right now. When you're focused on the ends, not the means, you might buy less designer right now. When you're focused on the ends, not the means, you're focused on buying assets. So then you're buying, you're spending, and you're acquiring an asset, not continuously spending and buying and acquiring liabilities. Harsh reality, though. Harsh reality. Top trustee mistakes. Oh man, I don't know if I had the mindset for it. I come from working a job. I don't even set my own schedule. Now I gotta set my own schedule. Now I gotta man up or woman up. I gotta set my schedule because I'm the leader of the first gen of the 11 gens to come to build generational wealth. That's what you said, right? Right. How do you set the precedent and then you don't? How do you set the precedent and you have no record of your precedent? See, when you set precedent, you create record. So they can look back and see this is what the senior trustees did every day or quarterly or weekly. But oh no, no, it's too hard to do the Minutes Trust Christian Vault. We got to plan our vacations out. No worries. Unfortunately, we know the ends of that. We don't even focus on the means. The top trustee mistakes. On a scale of 1 to 10, you can judge yourself on these key metrics, these KPIs. They're called key performance indicators. These are some of the things that we've seen throughout the years for some of the best trustees, what they measure their mindset on. Not measure mindset, but measure themselves on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. Once again, student mentality. That's a key performance indicator. Are they learning something every day? Are they browsing through something every day for trusteeship? Did they look over their notes? Did they listen to their mentors? Did they listen to the studies? And you don't need to know everything, but you got to know some things really well. Tiger Woods was really good at golf. He didn't know everything. He doesn't need to know everything. He actually probably pays people to know things for him. That's the private. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. How's your student mentality today? How's your student mentality been towards trusteeship over the past week? How's your student mentality been over the past month towards trusteeship? It's harder to gauge it over a period of time, so it's best to gauge it daily, and then you can add it up over a month or a week or however. It's easier to do it that way. Then we get to 1 to 10. How's your work ethic? Oh man, my work ethic. I'm going to work every day. Trust Christian Vault. We got trustees tell us they working 40 hours a week. You almost acting like you out of breath. You don't need to worry about Trust Christian in the Vault. The question is, are you putting the work for your family estate? We are. Are you putting the work for your family estate? Not, someone who's putting in the work for the first gen to build the family estate, to transition assets, to build the team, to get people on the same page, to plan the meetings. Who's planning the work and working the plan? Oh man, Trust Christian Vault, that's outside my comfort zone. That's something I got to be the leader. I'm a good follower. I'm a good team player, but I got to be the leader. I got to boss some people around. No, you don't. You got to set the precedent. You got to do the work. The minutes for yourself daily for your successors so they can step in. If you have them, who would that be? Your children. Maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe your significant other. Scale of 1 to 10. What's your work ethic towards that every day? Did I do as much as I could do as a 10? And then we go down from there. Or I did nothing. That's going to be a harsh reality for some people when they have to write a 1 or 2, or pretty much, and you ain't got to put a whole bunch of numbers on there. It's 1 or 5 or 10. Did you do just enough? 5. Did you do something? 5. Did you do more than enough? 10. Or did you do nothing? 0 or 1. You're still a trustee, so just know we're going to put that 1 there because you're that one that's got to do something. Senior trustee, you got to do something. That's work. Every day. How you working for some DuPont? How you working for Sam Walton? How you working for Henry Ford? How you working for Musk? How you working for Gates? How you working for these last names, but you won't do something that originates from that last name? Odd and a little peculiar, but it's okay. It's not for everybody, as they say. It's not okay. It's not for everybody. Work. Scale of 1 to 10. And the last one, or one of the last ones, that we're going to talk about today, which is your attitude. Are you focused on the ends, not the means? Appreciate St. Paul, Minnesota for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate St. Paul, Minnesota for tuning in live, listen, replay. Should be good weather out there right now in the year's April on the Gregorian calendar. So it should be good weather out there. We've known that place to catch a breeze, if you know what I mean. So their attitude, not focused on the ends, they're focused on the means. Where am I going to get the money for this? Where am I going to get the money for that? How am I going to pay for the conference? How am I going to pay for trusteeship? How am I going to pay for the education? How am I going to pay for all of that? Ask yourself that and meditate on that. It's actually going to come from the inside. That's why you're asking yourself. That's why you meditate. And then you can find a mentor and confirm your affirmation. Top trustee mistakes. Their attitude, they're not focused on the ends, they focused on the means. Where's the money going to come from? Where's all these hemorrhage of millions that I'm going to pass along to my kids going to come from? I'm working hard right now. I dang near need a break. I'm about to have a mental nervous breakdown. I'm tired, Trust Christian in the Vault. I'm tired. You think they don't come on the line and say that? That's why we're repeating it. Because they come on the line and they say that. It doesn't matter if they're making millions or they're not. We actually have people that have definitely got millions and they'd be like, oh yeah, I've just been working really hard and I just want to free up some time. Maybe some time with my family. They want to protect their assets now that they worked really hard. Their tongue's still hanging out their mouth. They're still tired. They're successful by their standards. And they want to protect them. They're focused on the ends, which is protection. They didn't get so tired that they forgot about protection. They didn't, hold on. But then you got the other trustees. Did you get so tired that you got in trust and now all of a sudden you're tired to grow the assets? You're tired to get out there and push the needle and create from the family last name? Oh, man. Trust Christian Vault has been a journey, man. I've been through the ringer. We lost thousands of dollars out here in investments. We lost thousands of dollars out here dealing with these shysters over the internet. That we done dealt with it. Now we gotta pay up to play up again. We gotta keep creating a proper risk reward ratio scenario in my life. Because public school didn't give us that education. And if you did, you got it. But for the most part, there is a demand for financial literacy because they didn't understand proper risk-reward ratios. Well, we're in that era. The proper risk-reward ratio right now is does your private education cost more than your public education? And how much did your public education cost? Here we go. This is what people might come into the private and say. Well, I got a debt in my public education that I'm probably not trying to pay off, even though I say I make over 50K, even though I say I make over 100K, or however much. Don't. Here you go. There are people that you don't want to know that are so-called millionaires, and guess what? They got, let's just say, they got hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Don't get it twisted now. They telling you they're millionaires. but they're carrying student loans like a pauper. And they got the student loans in their name. They didn't get the student loans in the corporation name. Remember, they took out loans in their own name. This is where we are in the world. Hey, how are you even able to go into debt on the public education in a first world country and know that the fact that you got that education, you can go anywhere in the world and you'll be fine because you got it from the first world country? That's the great excuse. The unfortunate part is those type of thinkings almost don't even work in these environments. These environments, think about it. Most people are first generation wealth builders. That means you have to think outside the box. You got to think outside of public school. Public school just told us to go to school, get an education, get in debt, and get a job. That's what the system says. If the system says that and you think outside the box, I'll say, well, there's less schools, but there are schools, which is a school system for entrepreneurs, for investors, for unconventional thinkers, for outside the box thinkers. It's unfortunate, because once again we talk about the attitude, focused on the ends, not the means, and we talk about this stuff, and we've worked with trustees throughout the years, and we've really impacted some lives, and we want this episode to impact you all who listen and take these KPIs and put them into your echelon. We know that this will impact many. This is not our information. This is just best practices, some of the best practices, and obviously some of the top trustee mistakes that people make, with their attitude. The attitude can be an inhibitor. It's an inhibitor. So it's a mistake. You don't want to keep making the same mistakes over and over. We showed up to one of our first meeting with one of our mentors. Mentor said, if you ever show up late ever again, I'll never meet with you. So you don't make that mistake again. Top trustee mistakes, the attitude. Making excuses. Oh man, next time. I read it 3 times. Trust Christian Vault. Trust Christian Vault. I read the document 3 times. I read the case 3 times and still don't understand it because I got a pubic public school education. Let's say it again. I read the case 3 times. Guess what? I got a job. I'm getting paid over 6 figures. And I read the case 3 times and I still didn't get it. But you don't want to hear that. Because it's work involved. It's reading. It's comprehension involved. It's not hard. It's just repetition. The mother of learning is repetition. Most of you all have learned everything you've learned in your life through repetition. You got to learn trusteeship through repetition. You learn repetition through being immersed in the information. How you immersing yourself in the information? If you're watching TV every day. And look, we actually share with trustees certain type of programs that are in the public that share with you trusteeship. A few TV series that come through the grapevine that you can see in the public to pretty much get to see. You see families operating together. We'll share the series. We're going to drop a jewel because it doesn't matter. We're going to win. We're winning. Are you going to win? So there's a series on TV, on the internet called Succession. Succession. And it's a series. And it's with a family. And we haven't watched it in a while. But it's pretty much like some think they own a newspaper or something, and they might have a bunch of assets. A lot of people talk about the TV show Billions. You'll see that they're in trust too as well. But when you talk about Succession, that's another series that you all can see over a period of time. You can just continuously see how these people are operating, and you can see they're operating as a family. So this is the harsh reality. If you're not operating as a family, this is a reality check. He's like, okay, well, how do I get my family to come in and work together like this family, even though I can see that they have issues and they might be dysfunctional, but they're making it work because they understand it's about their last name first before anything else. But we understand that most people wouldn't think that way because they don't have any pride in their last name. So why would they think that way? Top trustee mistakes, the work ethic. Are you going to do something every day? Student mentality. Are you studying? Attitude on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest. What's your attitude like? Focused on the ends, not the means. Oh man, every day I'm getting up, I'm thinking about the ends for my family, and I need them to think about it too. Cause it seems like I'm the lone soldier having to think about it by myself, and I want to talk to someone else about it in my family at least, right? And then we got a family that came into the trustee training just recently. We're not going to name who they are or whatever, but they come in, one gets in, the next one says, hey, yeah, I got someone, and they relative, and bam, just like that. We got to protect ourselves. We're having conversations. You think their learning curve is not going to be exponentially grown because they can have conversations and they're going through the training together at the same time in their family? Yes. That's how you grow, by being immersed in the environment. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, Christian at trustchristian.com for consultations. Peace and joy.